Today I did want to talk about my ketchup and mustard rose. It is a newer rose for me here in my garden. I got it, it's over a year, maybe 2 years old, but not terribly old. I did pick it up from Bay Ridge Nursery. It is a tree rose, so it's up tall, but you can get it obviously just as a regular shrub. So I did want to talk about this rose today because I think even though it is a newer rose for me, I could tell right away when I planted this rose that it just really took well, I think, to the weather here in Phoenix. So for me, this rose is probably the rose that blooms the latest into summer, probably into July. So while a lot of the roses, actually most roses in Phoenix July will kind of put most of their energy into just trying to keep cool, and they will stop blooming when it does get Phoenix July heat. This one does still kind of put on some blooms. They are obviously heat stress blooms, but I do think that that says a lot about how heat hardy the ketchup and mustard rose is. I have done other videos doing garden walkthroughs in July here on my channel, just so you can see how roses do look in July, the Phoenix July heat, and that one I believe was still blooming. So if you want to see how the ketchup and mustard does once we get into the 105s, 110s, that's a good video to watch. If you are here in Phoenix or in another really dry, arid climate, it'll kind of show you, obviously, how it does in the summer. Right now it is April, it is Easter. It is blooming here for me. It is its first flush of the season. So the first flush in spring to me is always when the roses here look the best. So I do want to show you how it looks now, and just kind of check out the rose and go over how it performs and grows. Okay, so this is the tag off of the rose from when I bought it. This is a week's rose, obviously, and it is a Floribunda rose. So just from the picture of the rose on the card, you can see it's red with like a yellow underside, which is its name, Ketchup and Mustard. It's funny because just seeing this rose in picture, I didn't like it so much, but when I saw it in the nursery blooming, I actually really liked it. I thought it had a really pretty unique color. So this one I think looks better in person than in the picture. So I'll just read the card really quick so we can see what the expectations, I suppose, of this rose is supposed to be, and then we'll just take a look and see if it meets those. So this rose is a condimental combination of the brightest red and darkest yellow set atop the greenest, glossiest leaves. The flowers hold on to their attention-getting tones to the very end. The color is ketchup red and mustard yellow, bicolor rose. The height and habitat is medium, rounded, and bushy. The bloom size is medium double. Petal count is about 25. The fragrance says mild. And it does say best flower size in cooler conditions. Interesting. Okay, so like I said, it is blooming right now, so let's go take a look at how the ketchup and mustard rose is doing here in my Phoenix garden. So here is my ketchup and mustard rose. Like I said, I have the topiary or tree rose. Obviously you can get this just as a regular shrub rose. It is a Floribunda, and per the card it did say that the growth habit on this was round and bushy, which I do agree with. It is pretty round and it does like to grow. I would say this one's probably a pretty avid grower. I would give it some good room or good space to fill in and grow. The growth on this again is kind of bushy. It does like to grow out, and it's pretty average, I would say. Rose growth and thorns. It's not too thorny, it's not thornless. I do think that the foliage, like the card said, does have a nice little gloss to it. It is very green and a bit shiny. So here you can see this rose has been blooming a while. This is the color. It is brighter red, I would say. And then on the back side is the yellow. It also has a very nice yellow center. Here is a bud, just a little bud. You can probably better see the underside, yellow underside of this guy. Very cute shape. You can see the size of this bloom. It's not the biggest, but it is a Floribunda, so it does like to put on many buds and clusters. So they put on cute little buds everywhere. So like I said, these again, they're not the largest flowers, and in summer when it does bloom and it is hot, they'll get very small. They get tiny, super tiny, very cute, but it does bloom even into July here in Phoenix. I do think that these roses stay bloomed, I guess, for a pretty good time, and they do, like the card says, it does keep its color very well here. I don't notice any fading with the summer heat. A lot of roses in the summer will become lighter with the heat, but this guy does stay pretty vibrant red with the yellow underside. The petal count on this guy did say about 25, which I think gives it, oh, hi spider, it's blending in. So the petal count on this guy is about 25. It's not very high. It does, when it puts buds, little buds on, it looks, you know, like a traditional rose, but when it opens, it doesn't maybe keep an iconic rose shape, but, you know, it is not a single, it's not a single petaled rose. It does have, you know, dimension. So the fragrance on this rose, the card does say mild. I can barely smell this rose personally. I would say it's pretty much not fragrant. You know, you'll get a small amount of fragrance at the right time of the day, but I would say this pretty much, for all intents and purposes, doesn't really have fragrance. So if you are looking for a very fragrant rose, this would not be the one I would pick. So as far as pest goes on this guy, I think this is pretty pest free. It's probably one of the more resilient roses in the garden. I think that's what gives it its ability to bloom even in the higher heats. So like I said, this is the first flush of the rose. I think obviously this is its best flush. You can see it is putting on some new growth already, and being that it is already in the 90s here, you know, the foliage size is reduced and the flower size does get reduced with the higher heat. It is probably one of my better performing roses in the heat, like I said, blooming into July. So if you are in a warm climate, I do think that this performs really well. I'm very, very happy with it. It is one of my younger roses, and I think it just really took off here for me, and it looks amazing. So I'm very happy with this rose. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please do like and subscribe. Thank you.